Now, it's a story we've covered multiple times. The illegal rubbish dump in Rainham that's been on fire for 10 years. Well, it's still burning and residents still have to keep their windows closed in nice weather like today because of the toxic air. Well, some of those residents are now taking the council to court, arguing that they must take responsibility for it. Our political correspondent Simon Harris reports.
It's supposed to be almost 40 acres of woodland open to the community. Instead, the site at Rainham in East London is an illegal toxic dump which frequently bursts into flames. It's so bad it's known as the Rainham volcano.
It's an absolute nightmare, particularly in the summer when we can't have our windows or doors open because of the noxious smells and the fumes.
Today, Coral was at the High Court to support campaigner Ruth Kettle-Frisby, who's hoping a judge will order Havering Council to clean up the site.
We know that certain groups of people with, for example, underlying health conditions are more vulnerable, and children are at the sharp end, particularly children who are unwell already.
In 2022, the fire service was called to the Launders Lane site 100 times. Tackling the spontaneous fires is tricky. No one knows what hidden horrors lie beneath the surface. The campaigners taking Havering Council to court say the authority has failed in its duty by not officially labelling the land contaminated.
If they designate it as contaminated land, they would be under a duty to take steps to serve a notice on the landowner, forcing them to clear it up. And if the landowner was unable to do that, they could go onto the site and take steps themselves to clean it up.
Havering Council says the site is the responsibility of the landowner, but in a statement on its website, the council leader Roy Morgan called on Sir Sadiq Khan to intervene, adding, "Let's be honest, if this was happening in an inner London borough, City Hall would already have taken action." In response, a spokesperson for the mayor insisted he doesn't have the power to move the waste or clean the site. Residents in Rainham, meanwhile, are dreading the warmer weather and what they know as fire season. Simon Harris, ITV News.
An expensive fleet of new trains is stuck in storage because no one is qualified to drive them. South Western Railway poured £1 billion into its service from Waterloo to boost capacity and ease overcrowding. But with hundreds of drivers still being trained up, passengers haven't seen much improvement on a fleet which has been repeatedly hit by delays. Our correspondent Simon Harris reports.
Pulling out of Vauxhall Station today, a lesser-spotted Arterio. These are the new state-of-the-art trains supposed to transform travel for commuters. But the £1 billion fleet has mysteriously failed to appear on all but a handful of lines. There's a new train called the Arterio. Have you heard of it?
No.
Have you seen one?
No.
Have you been on one?
No. I haven't been on the new ones as yet.
Have you been on one of the new trains?
No, I haven't.
Haven't seen one?
No, not at all.
Have you been on one of the new trains yet?
I have, yes, much better.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard South Western Railway's Arterio. A fine choice, if I may say so.
South Western Railway celebrated the launch of the new train in January 2024, albeit 5 years late, with promotional videos.
It's amazing to see another one of these trains out on a new route this morning. These trains will transform capacity and comfort for our customers across the suburban network, and we can't wait to see more of them.
Commuters would no doubt agree, if only they could find one. South Western has bought 90 of the new trains and almost all of them have been delivered. But at the moment, only 6 are being used to carry passengers. A further 8 are being used for driver training in the depot at Clapham. We saw this one today, shunting forward a few feet, shunting back a few feet and then repeating the exercise. A shortage of skilled drivers seems to be the main holder.
We were promised 90 trains in 2019. It's 6 years on. It's simply not good enough. They've got to train the drivers. And now with the government taking over British Railways, they need to actually get up to the mark and make sure we have adequate drivers, adequately trained.
But the Arterio has had other teething troubles. At one point, the drivers' union objected to the size of the windscreen wipers, although a pay rise helped take the sting out of that row.
To have such a series of issues that ranged everything from software issues to actual mechanical issues and then driver issues is really unacceptable.
In a statement, a South Western Railway spokesperson said, "We are sorry that the Arterio rollout is taking longer than previously expected." The company said it was working to speed up driver training. In the meantime, more than 70 of the new trains are in storage depots around the country. Simon Harris, ITV News, Clapham.
Good evening. People commuting through South London this morning were met with a crime scene after yet another fatal stabbing in the capital. A man was killed near Brixton Tube Station just after 5 a.m, with one person arrested on suspicion of his murder. It has once again raised questions over how to mitigate the violent crimes plaguing our city and if the current laws around knives go far enough. Here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
Commuters in the centre of Brixton were confronted with the stark image of an active murder scene. A police tent marked the spot where a man thought to be in his 30s died in Coldharbour Lane. Like many London postcodes, Brixton has violent gangs, but some locals said the area is also plagued by aggressive beggars.
They're so violent because one morning one man asked me for £5. I said, I have got it, I don't take money to work. And he spit on me.
You can't walk down the street where you can't have your mobile, so somebody will come around and grab it.
It's terrifying. It's literally where I walk to work every single morning. Comes as a bit of a shock, to be honest. I don't usually feel unsafe in the area, but it's the path that I take, sometimes really early by myself on the way to work.
The motive for this latest murder wasn't immediately clear, but it was yet another knife attack. Of all the London boroughs, this one, Lambeth, tops the league table when it comes to knife crime, and it's going up. Last year in Lambeth, there were more than 900 offences involving knives. Almost 200 of them were stabbings. Knife crime in Lambeth has increased by more than a fifth. The local MP spoke to community leaders and residents before joining other MPs in Parliament for a timely debate about knife crime and young people.
What we never hear about is the ongoing trauma that is left behind in the local community. The sense of loss felt not only by the immediate family, but by everyone who had watched that person grow up.
The most heartbreaking thing that you do as an MP is speak to a parent who's just heard that their precious son or daughter has been taken away far too young by knife crime.
Too many young lives have been taken too soon. Too many communities living in fear of the next tragedy, and too many families are being left in unimaginable grief.
In Brixton, the crime scene reawakened horrible memories for one passer-by.
It made me think of when my son was killed. My son was killed 19 years coming up, so it's awful. And I still got a pain. So as soon as I saw that, I just thought, could all the pain just come back? It's awful. You know, it's heartbreaking for the parent.
Wilma's son, Arian Arthur, was shot dead in Shoreditch in 2006.
They shot him in his back. He was my beautiful 22-year-old boy. So every time I see things like that, all the pain just come back.
Tonight, a man arrested at the scene of the latest killing is being questioned on suspicion of murder. Simon Harris, ITV News, Brixton.